As far as the Dolphins, though, the Miami Dolphins, we know they've already made some changes. Jonu's out of there. This is going to be led by their receivers and their ground game, especially Devon Achane. But some of the concerns popped up again, Tyler. It happened. Devon Achane dealing with soft tissue injuries already. Obviously, we know the frame is a little bit smaller. We know that he's a pass catcher first. He should be at least pass catcher first, not a true 25 touch guy. Are you concerned about Devon Achane at all right now if you're getting him in the first round, top of the second round?
No. I mean, injuries can happen to anybody. You can say he's at a higher risk, sure. But I don't I've said this and I say it a lot when I'm streaming and talking to people. I don't care about injuries. I don't look at injury risk and say I'm not going to draft this guy because he could be injured. I think that's a wrong way of playing fantasy football. Anybody can be hurt any given time. You play 1 year. Now, if you want to look at that for dynasty, I think that's a different conversation because you're tied to them for.
But isn't there something to be said about players who get hurt more often than others? I kind of bumped down McCaffrey because of that. You don't think so?
No, because the Christian McCaffrey was just healthy for 2 years straight, just 2 years ago, and he was the RB1 and 2 in those years. Who's to say he can't stay healthy this year? And if he is, he's probably going to be one of the best players in fantasy football, especially with that team. So I don't care about one player, injury concerns. I know, I'd be more concerned if a guy was heading into the season already hurt. That's a different conversation. We have, Brandon Ayuk and Chris Godwin, those kind of guys. But if a guy's healthy right now, and we'll see what happens with Devon Achane. If we're getting closer to the season and he's still not practicing, sure, now that becomes a concern. But anybody can get hurt. Injuries happen. I don't really draft my team based around injuries because guys can stay healthy. Other guys will get hurt, and then we'll consider them injury prone. So I don't honestly worry about it too much. But I will say, if we get closer to the season and Devon Achane's not practicing, then that becomes a bigger concern.
He dealt with something like this at the top of last year too, when he ended up playing through it. It was a short week, and I remember he got hurt thinking damn, he's kind of small.
Ankle injury.
Yeah, and an ankle injury, and then he ended up playing through it, and was phenomenal throughout the whole year. So he's a tough dude. Obviously, you have to be if you came into the league at 165 and decided you were going to play football at running back. You had to be a tough dude. So I think for me, the one thing that was good to see is that he played all 17 last year. The concern I have is is this going to be something that lingers on throughout the year? You talk about soft tissue stuff. Sometimes this is stuff that either affects you one way or another. Either you can get complicated, more injuries happen, or you injure something else trying to protect it. So hopefully we get week 1, all clear, Devon Achane's good to go. For now, I've kind of bumped him down more so to where I have Christian McCaffrey. I know you have him a little bit higher than I do, but I bumped him down a little bit, not much. I think that the concern is valid enough for me to be all right, I think the upside is there with Devon Achane, but I think the fact that he played all last year kind of masked some of those injury concerns that I had for him last year.
So where's he at in your ranking?
He's just behind the receivers now. So there was a few receivers I had him ahead of, and I'd much rather take a Drake London over a Devon Achane now. I'd much rather take, obviously, Brian Thomas and Puka and Nico. It's he's kind of slipped down to where I would just take the receiver over him now.
So where's CMC at for you?
CMC is my RB 8 or 7, somewhere around there. RB 8 or 7, second round. Mid-second round.
That's gonna be a big miss this year.
Hey, call it what you want, but if the injury concerns are valid for me. I know me and you could probably talk CMC on another one, but for me, it's just that's where I have him, and it's the upside and risk factor in the first round is just a little bit too much. I know you talked about not worrying about it, but then you got to start looking at handcuffs. You got to be okay, if this player does have the injury risk for CMC, for example, you probably need to be looking at Garendo because it's not a 1-to-1 switch, but it's not as bad.
You're gonna lose not gonna lose, but
it's just not as bad. Right, you're gonna lose a few points, but it's not as bad. But the same thing goes for who is the backup on this Dolphins team when everybody expected it to be Jaylen Wright after Raheem Mostert was gone. It's kind of that was the next logical thing is that Jaylen Wright was going to come take this role, and he hasn't looked the part. At least in preseason. Things can change throughout the regular year. But he hasn't looked the part in this preseason. But, who has looked the part is a lot of people hyped up Ollie Gordon, his college production, and kind of looking at the third down or tank short yardage type situation. He looks the part, Tyler. Which one of these guys, because Jaylen Wright's getting drafted. Ollie Gordon isn't at all. He could be free money. And one of these guys is going to have an impact, especially if Devon Achane does miss time or is out week 1, week 2, first part of the season. Which one of these guys do you think is more intriguing to draft?
Yeah, I would say Ollie Gordon. Now I'll say this is that I'd rather take, somebody else that I'm sure we'll talk about later. Like there's other players that I would take just because I don't know if it's set in stone that Ollie Gordon will be the backup running back. And it might be kind of like he'll battle Jaylen Wright throughout the year and then eventually overtake him. But even then, like I'm not fully sold on like either one of these guys being very valuable in fantasy football anyways. Like maybe they end up being used around the goal line and being the preferred goal line back. But I still even think like Devon Achane will still see reps around there. They're not going to just line up under center and, have all tight ends out there, no wide receivers. They're not that kind of team. They're more of a finesse team. So I think it's going to be Ollie Gordon. He's definitely someone that he should be stashed in dynasty leagues, but I can see him being the kind of guy that you draft and then you just end up dropping week 1 anyways, because he has like 1 carry and now you're going to go get somebody else on waivers. So he's the guy that I would prefer, but I wouldn't like invest too much into it.
Yeah, I kind of think Jaylen Wright's going to get first crack at it,
Yeah.
first crack at the opportunity. Even if he hasn't been playing well, it's like he's been playing over Ollie Gordon. So whatever he's doing in practice or whatever he did last season has translated to at least the role right now where he has it. Now, I think you talked about it, though. Like once week 3, week 4 come around, and if there's a shift, like we might be talking, there's more of a probability we're talking about Ollie Gordon as pickup of the week than there is the need to draft him right now at like RB2. Like I think you're right about that. So I don't really draft handcuffs a lot. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. The minute these guys go 3 carries for 8 yards or they go 5 touches and 10 yards, no touchdown, we're dropping them. Like this, they're the first people to go. So I would be careful with like with ever drafting a handcuff. But even this Ollie Gordon, Jaylen Wright thing, you and I don't know who it is. Mike McDaniel's probably going through it right now. Who do I even have as my RB2? So I think it's tough for fantasy managers to come in and decide that. I think in best ball, very good idea to draft Ollie Gordon late. If you're
he's
doing
really
best ball
late.
drafts, I think Ollie Gordon's probably the one that has the most like return value that's possible out of there. So draft Achane, stash neither. That's the game plan.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, unless you're like in a deep league, I guess, but like in your regular, just say 12 team, 15 rounds, I don't think if you want to take a shot at your last draft and like you're looking at the list and nobody's there, I mean, sure, but there's probably another running back, like a backup running back or something that I would be more inclined to draft.
The only reason he should be on the roster week 1 is if we get word here that Devon Achane.
Yeah,
for some reason,
I guess that would be.
That's it.
That's true. And if you're drafting right now, I mean, you won't get word. So, then I guess I probably thinking about it. Yeah, I would probably draft one of those guys just because of that. But if word comes out that Achane's fully back and everything, then then I wouldn't worry about it.
Pointless, man. And the thing is that we always get like, we never know at this time of year. There's like rumors that fly around. There's injury reports.